So, hey everyone. Thanks so much for joining us on this wonderful Sunday. We are going to launch into just a sort of brief introduction of some of the topics so you guys can start thinking about it so we can dive deeper once we get into Israel. So, I'm going to pull up my screen so we can start with our slides and we will go from there. I'm going to ask everyone to mute your mics, please. Unless you have something to say, feel free to unmute and talk. But if you're not speaking, then just mute the mic to eliminate the background noise. All right, so we're going to cover basically curriculum and coaching. Okay, so give you a brief introduction to myself and Daniel. We're going to be your coaches in Jerusalem, talk a little bit about the curriculum and some of the changes that we have for this summer, professional development, classroom management, and then of course, what is this coaching piece. So be present, mute your audio, and if you have questions, you can type them in the chat, and once we go through the whole presentation, we'll go through the chat, and anything that we haven't already addressed, then we'll just cover at the end of the presentation. And again, also, if you prefer to speak at the end, you are free to do that also. So we have Gilad, who's the regional director. He is not able to join us, but obviously you're gonna meet him in Jerusalem if you don't already know him, and then myself and Daniel are your instructional coaches. So I am a Hebrew teacher and instructional designer, born and raised and currently still living in Brooklyn, New York. My first Talmud summer was 2016. I taught incoming fourth graders in Jerusalem. And then I joined the Pedagogy team as a curriculum designer the following year. And then I did the full year program last year, teaching in Dimona, where I taught grades 3 through 6. Daniel?
My name is Daniel. Nice to meet y'all. I was born in America, in New Haven, Connecticut, and then I moved to Michigan, where that's where I grew up. And then I moved to Israel, made Aliyah about 10 years ago. I live outside of Jerusalem, Seret Zion. It's like the first suburb outside of Jerusalem. Wife and 2 lovely kids. I've been teaching for 3 years in the Israeli public system. I teach English, from I guess first grade until 6th grade. I also teach ultra-Orthodox men through a different program with Talma. I'm also a technologist. I'm a programmer. I'm interested in the connection between technology and education. And in a minute, I'm going to tell you about this new system we have going on for the curriculum. I'm super excited to meet all y'all and work with Tehillah. I think we're going to have a great summer.
Awesome. And then
last thing, sorry, I didn't say, if you go back to this one slide, sorry.
Yeah.
Because I have this weird logo, it's not clear. So that's in Hebrew that says check-in, which is a program I'm working on with a few other teachers that's about mindfulness. It's like teaching kids to be more mindful in the classroom. And it's actually like an app, a mobile or computer app that practices mindfulness technique. So that's why I have that there. It's something I'm super proud of and excited about.
I didn't even know that. Awesome.
There's a lot of things you don't know yet, Tehillah. We're going to get into it.
Okay. Gilad, he is the regional director for Jerusalem. He's been with Talma from the very beginning. So he was a mentor teacher for the first 4 years in 4 different cities. And then he was the Talma regional director last summer in Jerusalem. And so he's starting his 2nd year. He is also an English teacher in Pardes Chana. And he was part of the Chotam, which is Teach for, sort of like the Teach for America of Israel. Okay, so first thing we're going to cover is curriculum, and Daniel, I'll let you start with that and talk about what's new.
Great, cool, thanks, Tehillah. So maybe before a little bit of new, I'll talk about what's old. So one thing that's Tehillah and a couple other teachers, they made some really amazing lesson plans. We have 6 levels, foundations, and then A, B, C, D, E. And each one of those levels, they get harder as you go up. Each level is broken down into weeks and then into days. So if you want, you don't have to do anything you don't want to do, but we give you a framework whereby every day you know what you need. You have lesson plans, you have an activity, you have external resources, a lot of really professional, great lesson plans that are suggestions for you to use. So previously, how we did it is that people got a printed out version of the lesson plans, pieces of paper, and then we advanced to Google Drive. And this year, Talma's partnered with an educational technology company called Ludus, and together with Ludus, we are making an online curriculum repository. So like you'll log in and it'll know who you are. It'll show you exactly what your curriculum is for the day. In addition to that, you'll be able to see additional resources. Like maybe it's a Kahoot game. Maybe it's a worksheet. Maybe it's images you can use to talk about whatever the material for that day is. So you have more resources to use as a teacher. And the last step is that we're trying to build up the teacher community of Tanma. So if you have a PowerPoint, for instance, that you made for the day and you want to upload that, you can. And then people will be able to share those resources. So we'll make all of our lives easier and hopefully bring the resources that we bring to the classroom even better. So that's what we're working on. It's going to be ready in time for the summer. We're just putting on the finishing touches right now. And super excited about it. And yeah, I think that's about it as far as the curriculum goes. Any questions?
Awesome. If so, just put them in the chat and we'll go through a little bit of what they look like.
Sure.
So you guys have gotten the email that Deb sent out, I believe, a couple of days ago, letting you know what level you're going to be teaching. So I think the majority of Jerusalem is teaching level B. So you definitely just want to take a look at that. Again, like Daniel said, you're not bound to the curriculum. It gives you a framework and you can stick to it 100% to make your life easier. But if there are things that you want to change, you're more than welcome to change and innovate and add and pull from other curriculum levels or from external sources outside of Talma. And again, the thing to keep in mind is it's a general level. It doesn't mean that everyone in your class is going to be at level B. You may find that level B is not the right level for your class and end up using another level, and that is also fine as well. And I just want to show you that is also fine as well. Sorry, something weird just happened. I want to show you what the plans will actually look like. So these are the printed plans that all of the teachers get. Is it just me that has the weird echo? Is that everyone?
I think it's just you.
Okay. Well, if you guys don't hear it, then it's fine. So there's a curriculum booklet, and what this has is an outline of the curriculum itself. So each week, what the objectives are for that curriculum, and then the objectives of each day. And then there's a one-page lesson plan outline or a lesson summary. And this is what's printed and provided to the teachers. Previously, you would get the entire lesson plan book, which was heavy and thick and just not really usable in the classroom. So this, you'll have this one-page overview, and then the resources that will be available online and the full lesson plan will be available in the format that Daniel just talked about. And so this is an example, for instance, of a full day's lesson. So again, super scripted, lots of detail. If you want to follow it to the letter, you can. If you want to deviate from it based on your class, based on your working style, you're working with your co-teacher, that's perfectly fine as well. And then just in talking about the structure, I'm going to skip down here to the structure of the lesson plan. We have the morning meeting, which is basically like an icebreaker, things that you do to build community, going over the days of the week, certain basic things. And again, it'll depend on the lesson and it'll depend on your class. And there are ideas for greetings and warm-ups and all sorts of games in each of the lesson plans. And then you have your academic parts of the lesson. So that the lesson itself is broken down into two parts. There's the more like academic part of it, and then there's the more hands-on experiential portion of the day. And then at the end, there's what's called like an event of the day. So for instance, it might be a science day and it'll have a whole bunch of science activities to choose from. It might be cafe day, which might stretch over a couple of days, and you're, one day maybe preparing menus and preparing decorations for the cafe. The next day you might be making all of the food that you're going to serve at the cafe, and then the next day you actually do it. So again, there are lots of ideas. All of these things will be made available to you. Just have a look through your level, just so you get a sense of what sorts of things are planned. And then also you'll know if you want to bring extra materials, what sorts of things make sense for you to bring. All right. Okay, so I'm gonna go back to the presentation mode.
Cool. I'll say really quickly while we're going back that one thing that I didn't realize last summer so much is the importance of the activity that you're doing at the end of the day, and the creative part after the more academic learning, because these kids are coming and maybe they may expecting something like a day camp, even though we make it clear to their parents that's not what it is. But it is a summer school, but we do want to make sure that we're letting them have a lot of fun, that we're being creative in the way that we're teaching, that they're being creative with their English, that it's experiential. So these kind of things are a big focus of ours as well. So don't think that you just have to teach them vocabulary and worksheets all day. That's important. But at the same time, we want to really put an emphasis on that. And we want to let you guys be creative and do fun stuff as teachers that the kids will also enjoy. So that's a big element of this as well.
Definitely. Thanks for adding that. Okay, so what will be provided to you? There will be a hub in the hotels where you will have printer access. There will be materials. So the things that are built into the curriculum for the existing activities, those materials will be provided to you. And then, of course, the printed lesson summaries, and then the full lessons and all of those additional printable resources or videos or games or whatever they may be will also be available to you online. What to bring. If you have a laptop, strongly recommend that you bring it. With free stuff, you can bring anything from like menus to, really any sort of newspapers, magazines, any sort of materials that you have that you don't have to buy. I like getting paint chip samples from like hardware stores or Target or anywhere that has them. If you want to purchase things, you can go to like the Dollar Tree or dollar stores will usually have a lot of educational materials. The Dollar Spot and Target. Don't spend a whole lot of money. If you really want to invest and schlep all of these things over to Israel, like you're more than welcome to do so, but it's not necessary. Daniel, anything else you want to add?
Yeah, I have a couple quick things about that. Thanks, Data. First thing being, listen, Tama is responsible for bringing you all the stuff that you need. So if it says that you're going to have an art day, then we're going to bring you paint. We're going to bring you markers. We're going to bring you all that kind of stuff. So, like, you really don't need to bring so many materials like that. Just something special, like a gift or something that you really think is important for you, want to bring it. But don't bring your standard school supplies. We'll take care of that. Also, you have a budget. It's limited, but you can buy things here too as well. We have dollar stores, kind of. In addition, bring a lot of clothes because it's hot and sweaty and sometimes cold in the evenings in Jerusalem. So it's probably a better use of your packing for clothes. Also, laptops. So all appliances in Israel are 3-pronged, right? So you have like this here. This is like this is an American kind of phone adapter, right? You can plug this into wall in America. In Israel, you can't plug this in. It's like in Europe. So what you need is an adapter, right? It's going to take it and make it into something that's like this, that will work in Israel. You can buy these cheaply in America and then just kind of plug in your normal 3-prong adapter right into here, and it'll work just fine. You can buy them in the States. You can buy them here. It'll cost you here. This one costs 7 shekels, so that's what is that? They're like $2. So you can buy them either here or in the States. And I bring a bunch of these because all your appliances, you're going to need this. Also, Talmud classrooms will have a laptop computer, or a laptop or a desktop computer that connects to the internet and the projector. Okay, so that's part of your equipment that you should be getting. If you don't have that, let us know and we'll make sure that happens. That's part of the contract. I need to provide that. The laptop is for you to do personal work when you're not in the classroom, when you're at home, when you're in your hotel, when you're out and about, whatever it may be. So you have your laptop to work wherever you want. If you want to use your laptop, however, in the classroom, you have to think about the connection. So here in Israel, we have the HDMI and VGA. Those are 2 kinds of different projector connections. If you have a Mac computer, you're going to have to buy a special adapter. So go to your computer store and say, I need to connect to a VGA or an HDMI, and they'll give you a special thing, and you'll bring that, and then you'll be able to connect to the projector. Okay, that's for a Mac computer. Windows computers, you should just be able to do it straight in. Okay, if you have any questions, write them in the chat, and I'm happy to help you out with that.
Awesome. Super important, that adapter piece. Okay, so for classroom management, and again, there'll be a session on this once we get into Israel, but just think about options that both require technology and that you can use without technology. Because ideally, you will have technology in all of the classrooms. It doesn't always work out. You may have some days where you have technology and other days the internet is down or you don't have access, or you may find yourself in a school where you don't have access at all for the whole summer. So just think about whatever you do, whether it's for lessons or classroom management or anything, just always have a non-tech backup plan. So for technology, we have options like Class Dojo, like Critter, Socrative, Go Noodle, Bouncy Balls, and you can, again, look into these things. If there are things that you use in your classrooms back home, you guys are all professional teachers, absolutely bring them. And this will also be a conversation with your co-teachers to see what strategies and materials that they use and what they're comfortable with. And you guys are going to come up with a shared vision for your classroom. And then some non-tech based strategies are using incentives, making a class goal to work towards, making lists on the board. In my experience, that's been like wildly successful. Just kids seeing their names on the board is just exciting to them. Traffic light system, using a clip system. Again, whatever works for you. I'm sure that you guys all have strategies and things that you have tried or want to try, and you should definitely bring all of that expertise and that experience with you in the classroom. Okay, and then instructional coaches, what is our role? So our role is basically to support you, to work with the regional directors, Gilad in our case, to make sure that you guys are having a really successful supportive experience in Israel. And so part of that will look like us observing in the classrooms. And this observation is not, we're not evaluating you, we're not assessing you, we're not grading you. It's literally just us coming in to see like all of the amazing things that are going on in the classroom, and then having reflective conversations with you afterwards, just to highlight. A lot of times it's about highlighting the stuff that's working really, really well. I know just for me personally, it can be, if you ask me to reflect on something, I'm going to point out all of the things that I know I should have changed or that I would like to do better. And sometimes it's really hard to just take a step back and look at all of the things that are going really well. And so a big part of our role is just going to be to help you have the best experience possible and realize all of the great things that you are doing in the classroom. So whether it's giving you support with resources, answering questions that you have, helping to facilitate certain conversations between you and your co-teacher, our role is really just being here to support you. And again, you should not be feeling like I'm being judged or evaluated or anything like that. It's nothing like that at all. We really want it to just be like a relaxing, stress-free way for you to just get some growth and development in as part of the program objectives for your summer. And our email addresses. Between today and tomorrow, sometime between today and tomorrow, we're going to send out the recording of this video in case you want to go back and review it at any point. We have a little Padlet activity that we want to send out, and hopefully you guys will participate in that. We're going to get some information out for a WhatsApp group. Make sure that you download WhatsApp, and I know Deb sent out some other apps that you should really download before we get into Israel, just so we can start to build up that communication, and you guys can have access to us and ask whatever questions it is that you would like. Daniel?
Yeah, I think you did a great job explaining that, Taylor. The only thing I would add about the coaching is that like we don't come with a set agenda. Like it's not our job from Talmud to make sure that teachers are teaching in a certain kind of a way at all. It's more like us trying to figure out what's on your mind and how we can help you. And one of the things that I think maybe we can be especially sensitive to is about the cultural differences with the co-teaching. Because it's possible that you're going to be co-teaching with a 55-year-old Israeli woman who's been teaching for 25 years in the classroom, and she knows these kids, and she acts a certain way with them. And if that's an issue that you want to talk about, and we can give you some guidance with that, great. If not, that's also great. It's not that we're coming with any agenda to show you something.
And then just a note, if you didn't notice when they sent out the, if you haven't looked at the itinerary, that please do. And just as a reminder that we are going to be, Jerusalem starts teaching a day earlier than most of the other sites. I believe Jerusalem and also Eilat. Just something to be aware of.
Yeah, that's important. Great. So we see in the conversation here in the chat, are we provided with the materials and the lesson plans? And so I think this was probably asked earlier, but yeah. So all the stuff that's listed there, the basic stuff, you're going to have. It's going to be given to you. You may have to take it on the bus to your school, and it's going to be kind of a story, but you'll get it. You'll get it. Like for instance, like last year, one of the activities was making slime. and it was something that the kids really wanted to do, and I really didn't want to do it. But okay, we did it. So, and I ended up going to like the drugstore the night before with my co-teacher, and we went and we bought the stuff, the eyedropper and everything. And we brought it into the school, and it was actually turned out to be a whole lot of fun. But that's something that you also, you have a budget if you need to buy certain things, but the budget is fixed. Like you have like maybe 150 shekels over the course of the year, of the summer, excuse me. You have to kind of plan that out. But the materials, other than that, will be provided for you.
Any other
Are there any other questions?
Yeah, and again, you don't, like, feel free to unmute yourself and ask them.
Yeah.
Hi, it's Tova.
Hi.
I was thinking about transportation. Are we also provided with like a Rav-Kav or something to get on buses?
Yeah, so that's a really good question. Thank you for asking. So Gilad, who is not on this call, that's something that he talks about as the regional director, but I'm happy to help you. This is going to be given a Rav-Kav. It's like a bus pass. You don't use on the train. It gives you unlimited rides. So as long as you hold on to that card, you can get on the train, get off the bus, or the train, get off wherever you want. In addition, you're going to be given a piece of paper or a note card that can tell you exactly which bus stop to get off and when the buses come. On the first day of school, so you can have on this card, it's going to say, for example, take bus 23 to such and such an intersection. Okay, but you may not know what that intersection is. That's fine. The Israeli teacher, your co-teacher, the Israeli teacher, will be at the bus stop waiting for you. Also, if you have any questions, I'll be around. I'll be around. We have cars, at least one, maybe two. So, we're there to help you out with that. But transportation is paid for. We're also, just one thing about the location, I'll say a couple more things because Gila is in here. So we're going to be staying in downtown Jerusalem, like as centricity as possible, which is really fun. I don't know if you guys have been to Jerusalem, I don't know if you've been to Jerusalem before or not, but it's a really fun city, especially if you're in the center. You can walk everywhere, take the bus, very easy. And Jerusalem is the independent track, which means that where you'll be provided breakfast at the hotel, and then you're on your own for lunch and dinner, right? You get a stipend for this, I'm sure you've heard, but you can, if you want to buy a salad for lunch, or you want to go buy a falafel or shawarma, or, cut vegetables with the room, whatever you want, you can do that, because you have the freedom on the independent track. We're in the morning, so school will be, let's say, from, I'm just guessing, maybe 8 a.m. to 1:30 p.m. It's kind of standard. And then after that, sometimes we have activities in the afternoon. Sometimes not. And if you don't, then you have free time, and you can do whatever it is that you want to do, which is another really fun example. You can go, your mentors. Have you heard about the mentors yet? Okay, I'm guessing that's like no, we're not hearing anybody. So you have all the teachers have what's called a mentor. These are Israelis who went through the Teach for Israel program. You know this already?
Right. No, okay. I just didn't know the question. The connection is a little weak.
Oh, I see. Can you hear me now?
I just asked something about the mentors, but I didn't know what the question was. Okay. I think I'm back now. Oh, okay. So I think I was just talking about the mentors. I was just kind of talking about the mentor situation, because that's something that Gilad would have said. So you have every teacher is going to be paired with
an Israeli who's also a teacher, and they went through the Teach for Israel program. I did that as well. And you'll have about 10 to 12 people in your group, and they're kind of, we say that's your mother or your father when you're on the trip. So any questions you have, you can also turn to them. You have meetings once a week. It's a whole educational thing and emotional support. So they're also there for you with any questions that you may have. Me and Taylor more on the pedagogical side, and the mentors are more on the logistical, emotional side. But there's a lot of combinations, and we're all here to help and make the program the best as possible.
Awesome.
That was a long answer.
It was great. It was all useful information. Anyone else?
Rachel here. I had two different questions. Is there like a dress code for being in the classroom with the students? I have a couple tattoos. I don't know if I need to cover them or not. Is there like a dress code for
Are you in a religious school?
No, I'm not.
As far as I know, then you should be fine. I know when we did the full year program, we had a few participants who also had like visible tattoos, and it wasn't an issue for them. I worked at a religious school, so it would have been an issue for me, but they were fine. I mean, like Israelis have tattoos, it's not a thing. So as long as you're not in a religious school, then you don't have to worry about it.
Okay, perfect. And then do we know when we're going to get the full itinerary for the afternoon meeting? I heard that you have like afternoon and then some in the night. Is there a schedule for that out yet?
There is a schedule. It was sent out. I can double check like what date it was sent out. It doesn't have the exact times that maybe the mentor meetings or the barbecue or whatever is taking place, but it does have the days where you have something in the evening after school, and then it shows when you have either a free evening or a free weekend.
Okay.
Is that what you were referring to, or you want something more specific than that document?
No, that was it. I've recently got signed up about a week and a half ago, so I don't know if I missed any emails or anything.
Okay, so I can send, because like I said, we're going to send out an email between today and tomorrow with the video and other things to follow up. So I'll just make a note to also include that itinerary, so you'll have that.
Perfect. Thank you.
You're welcome. Anyone else?
I'll take a quick opportunity to get back to something that came up in the last question, is the idea about that like on the schedule that you'll see in a minute, it just says like an event without a time. And I think Israeli culture tends to be very kind of improvised, and things happen at the last minute and things change at the last minute. And listen, I've been here for 10 years and I'm still trying to get used to it. So it can be a challenge. And something to just kind of keep in the back of your head is like the more flexible and kind of flowing with things you can be, the easier it's going to be. Because Israel operates a certain way, and that's the way it is. And we try to do the best and give you the most updated information, be as much organized as possible. But at the same time, trying to like work on the flexibility and being like, okay, this is not the way that I would do it, but okay, is going to be a very helpful attitude when you're here in Israel.
So important. That flexibility is really, really key. If you're one of those people that needs like to know everything in advance, how it's going to go and not deviate from that, you would do well to sort of let that go and just use this as an opportunity. If you're not that sort of go with the flow kind of person, use this to work on that side of yourself, because it'll save you a lot of frustration and stress. And just to adopt the attitude, like whatever it is, it's gonna be fine, because whatever it is, it's going to be fine, and you'll be fine, and the kids will be fine. And I mean, you'll have a great time if you just relax and let things be what they are.
Amen.
Typically, how big are class sizes over the summer?
Oh.
Yeah. So I think I can answer that. Like I think like, so a typical Israeli class is going to be anywhere from like 26 to like 34. In the summer class, they tend to be pretty big. They tend to be more than 30. I don't think you have more than 35 kids in your class. That's pretty rare. It happens sometimes, but there are 2 teachers in the class, and it's a limited resource. So you'll probably have have around 30 to 35 kids in the class.
Awesome. Thank you.
Anything else?
Going once? Going twice? You sure? Okay. Well, if anything comes up, feel free to reach out to either of us or both of us. And see you this weekend. Can't believe it's this weekend.
That's right, this weekend. Wow. That's great.
Well, see you all this weekend and enjoy the rest of your Sunday and the rest of your week. And we will see you very soon.
Bye-bye.
Bye. להתראות. Bye.